Do you ever wonder what the best way to get to work is? I do. It might be bike riding. Made it. Okay, so what is all this about? Well, as some of us are slowly heading back to the office, myself included, I've been looking at how I can actually get to work and the impact on my wallet and the environment getting there actually has. I live pretty much exactly 10 kilometers away from the Finder office, so I'm in a pretty privileged position in that I can realistically get to and from work in 6 different ways. So, I thought I would try each of them over the course of this week. As you saw, this morning was cycling. It took about 45 minutes to get to work, which is on par with the car and train during peak hour. And the cost of one trip is basically nothing. Okay, so think of it this way. I bought this bike for about $400 maybe 5 or so years ago. After about 90 train trips, which is about 3 or 4 months of regular use of the train, this bike would have paid itself off. So after those 3 or 4 months, compared to train tickets, this is costing nothing more than the original upfront cost and the occasional upkeep, of which I've not done much of. And you know what? Riding was actually kind of fun as well. I was worried I would get really tired and burnt out because I just haven't ridden my bike in so long. But it was actually okay. Finally, for the environmental impact, a bike is powered by nothing but your legs. So yeah, environmental impact is pretty much nil. That is a big win in my books. Well, that's all the work I needed to do here today. I'm gonna drive home. I obviously didn't park my car in Sydney because it costs so much money, but I am going to drive home. I've actually had my partner and my dog come and drop a car off for me. So I'm gonna drive them home and rank this one. Let's go. I'm gonna put my phone away because I'm driving. Let's go. Alright, I've pulled up in the carport. My partner and my dog have left the vehicle so I can talk just here. But yeah, it took about half an hour with traffic to get back home, which isn't too bad for Sydney. During peak hour, during regular times, it's taken like over an hour to drive 10 kilometers from my house to work. Still, the fact that I have to concentrate on driving and I can't sit and play on my phone or read a book or something, it does mean that it's not as enjoyable as some of the other forms of transport, at least not to me. I do get to crank my tunes loud though. As for the cost, even the cost of parking alone makes this one of the most expensive options. If you can get early bird parking in the CBD, you can get in under $15 at some spaces, but it does depend where you go. You also have to factor in fuel, which adds up pretty quickly after a week's worth of trips. Environmentally, it's also the worst. According to Green Vehicle Guide, this car is fairly fuel efficient, but still can emit about 2.1 tons of greenhouse gases a year, and most of the time it's only transporting one person. Overall, driving a car to work is just not the right approach, at least for me, who has to go to work in Sydney CBD. So many other options to save money and not make as much of an environmental impact. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside. Tomorrow, I'm catching the train to work, so we'll see how that goes. So the train trip went pretty well. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of people on board these days. Last year, this would have been packed. It took about 28 minutes from my house to work with the train in between, which is faster than the car actually. Cost-wise, it's $4.48, which is fine, but after 10 trips, which you could likely do in one single week of going to and from work, that's $44.80 total per week. And that just keeps adding up as the weeks go on. So, it's not really the cheapest option, but it's not too bad. As for the environmental impact, besides people-powered forms of transport like bikes or walking, it's the most energy efficient. Basically, you can fit a lot more people on a single train carriage than in a bus or a car. And because they're electric, all of their energy comes from power plants, which is much more efficient than big onboard diesel engines. Speaking of big onboard diesel engines, I'm catching the bus home today, so wish me luck. So we got on the bus, and apparently it's going to take an hour to get home. Yeah, glad it brought off. So yep, it did take about an hour to get home on the bus. And like the train, it actually had a a lot less people on it than normal. But yeah, I can't really say it was fun. And it was more expensive than the train at $4.80. I don't think it's looking too good for the bus. It is worth mentioning, however, the environmental impact of a bus. While the big loud diesel buses emit more carbon emissions than a single car, they do carry a lot more people. This reduces the total amount of carbon emissions being put into the atmosphere for those people decided to drive instead. So really, the more people that catch the bus, the more efficient they are. I'm still probably never going to catch the bus to work again though. Alright, so today I have to move my work computer back to the office, so I figured it might be the best time to catch an Uber, because I'm not moving that on the train, let me tell you. Alright, so I'm just going to bring up Uber here, see how much it costs. So, like I said, I'm about 10 kilometers away. Oh my god, look at this. $30. Okay, how's it going? Yep, pretty good. Yeah. Okay, look, to be honest, the Uber ride was pretty fun. I got to chill in the back, just hang out, didn't have to concentrate on the road, spoke to the driver.
Another beautiful Sydney day.
Yeah, it's lovely. Just took the dog for a walk, got a bit of sun.
Yeah.
Now I can lock myself inside for the rest of the day. Yeah. It took 30 minutes to get here, but it cost $30 to get here. So that's just not sustainable for most people. I wouldn't recommend Uber as a way to get to work. There's been a lot of talk recently at how much pollution ride-sharing causes, with a study from the Union of Concerned Scientists, that is a real not-for-profit organization by the way, saying that it causes 69% more pollution as the cars drive around looking for people to pick up and people are incentivized away from catching public transport. Now, ride-sharing companies have argued against these claims, saying that they encourage carpooling. So their thinking is if you have a few people sharing a car, you're splitting the carbon footprint over more people. But compared to everything else I've tried this week, that is still being in a car, and cars are big polluters, especially compared to walking or riding a bike. Look, basically, I'm going to be using ride sharing when I need to get somewhere quickly, but I don't have my car on hand, and that's about it. Good morning. It is much earlier in the day than my normal commute, and I'm about to embark on a 2-hour journey to get to work. Let's go. Let's walk to work. As much as it takes a long time to walk to work, it is really nice spending the time to kind of find little patches of nature to walk through and just clear the head before I have to start thinking about what I have to do for the day and stuff like that. And honestly, even doing this now has given me a few ideas for how this video is going to turn out. So look, at the moment I can kind of recommend it. It's pretty good. About half an hour away from work, and got to admit I'm getting a little bit bored of this. But I did just hit 10,000 steps though, so you know. So walking was mostly enjoyable until it wasn't. It doesn't cost anything and it has no impact on the environment. But let's be honest, I don't have 2 extra hours a day each way. Will I do it again? Yes, probably, but it will be few and far between. So after all that, which is the best way for me to get to work? Honestly, I think it might be cycling. It's cheap, it has no carbon footprint, and it's almost as fast as driving or catching the train. And hey, it's pretty good exercise. Will I ride every day? Of course not, I'm lazy. But on the days that I don't do it, I'll probably be catching the train because it's the quickest and it's relatively cheap. Now those 6 ways of getting to work were the options open to me, and I picked bike riding as my favorite, but maybe you have a completely different way of getting to work. Do you ride a scooter or catch the ferry? Let me know in the comments below what you think the best way to get to work is. And of course, if you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe. Okay, is it off? Hey, yeah, Mum, can you pick me up? Oh, 15 minutes, that's a bit... Yeah, okay. All right, I'll be out the front. Love you too. Okay, bye. Mum's gonna pick me up. Yeah, cool. See you later.